Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to do a simple air layer. This time of year in Florida where I am, I can start air layering. If you're farther north, you want to wait till you start getting the new growth on some of your trees to harden off first. Farther, often they'll say May is a good time to do this, but here in Florida, late March into April, a lot of the trees are ready to be air layered. I'm going to show right here, this branch of this brush cherry tree is where I'm going to air layer. Let me step back so you can see. I'm on a ladder. Let me step back so you can see what the whole branch looks like. This branch here, and when it's upright, I plan on making it into an literati style tree. A brush cherry, I've done them before. Usually in about 3 months, I'll have roots and I can separate the branch from the tree. The supplies you need for what I do is a bucket of water, sphagnum moss that I bought at Home Depot, a knife, and some tin foil. If you'd like, if it's a harder to root species, you could, also use some rooting hormone. Either mix it in the water that you put the sphagnum moss into wet, or you can put it on the cut, after you make the cut on the branch. First thing I'm going to do is put some of this sphagnum moss in the water so it's wet. When I'm ready for it, I can get it. Going to dump it in this bucket. A couple handfuls should be more than enough. So it's sitting in the water, making sure it's nice and wet. When I put it on the branch, I'll be squeezing the excess water out of it and then wrapping that in tin foil. But first I'm going to make the cut. Grab the little pocket knife here. I'm going to try to set the camera up so I can do this without holding it. I don't know how easy that'll be. Let me see here. I'm going to air layer here. Let's see if I can get this situated right. I'm going to get on the other ladder. Hopefully this doesn't move. There we go. Alright, so this is the area I want the branch gets thicker here and then thin again, so I figure this is a good area to get a base on a tree. So I'm going to take the knife, and you got to cut a ring around the tree where you want the roots to come, and then you got to cut a nice gap, and you have to cut all the green away, or otherwise it'll just try to heal and bridge across instead of issuing roots. Take it all the way down to the white wood. Now you don't want to whittle it down all the way into the center of the branch, because the reason while you're trying to get roots on this, the reason it doesn't die is because it still can get water through this branch from the main tree, so it survives. Sometimes if you check in a couple months and it's not starting to issue roots, you can recut and start again, and then you will get roots. Because even if it doesn't start rooting, you'll get a buildup of hormones where you at the base here, and so if you recut it off, and those hormones will be stimulated to produce roots easier. And that's a good thing to know, especially if you're trying to air layer a tougher species like I do spruce pine air layers. There's been times where they took pretty easy, but I've also had to do recuts. So I don't know how good you can see here, but I'm taking it down to the white. On this tree, you don't see green as much as you see like a reddish with a hint of green. But you gotta get all that cambium off. And this is what they call a brush cherry. I think of it as a subtropical. This is a big tree in my yard. So it grows okay. I'm in zone 9 and 9.5, 9B. I think, you know, if you were another zone north, this tree probably wouldn't grow like this. Now I'm not so concerned on the backside making that so nice and neat, but I need, after I get this ringed around, I need to make sure that's a nice cut, the base, so it's clean cut, and I'll put this damp sphagnum moss on there and wrap it in tin foil. And usually what I'll do is every few days I'll shoot the hose up here and make sure some of it drips through the branch and re-wets that sphagnum moss so that stays damp to issue roots. A lot of times you'll look up this procedure and they use plastic, which works too, and the benefit of that is you can usually see roots as they hits the plastic. But I seem to have better luck when I do the tinfoil method. I don't know if it's a matter of like too much heat or whatever, or too much sun gets in that plastic. You can wrap the plastic with something too, but the foil makes it easy to check, easy to unwrap the foil and look to see if you're getting roots yet and recover it. Where the plastic, you know, untying it and all that can be, I think, a little bit tougher. This is a branch I was thinking of cutting away anyway on this tree, so I'll make good use of it. Down to that white wood. There we go. Hopefully you can see that, how white that's getting. And you don't want to, you need a, you know, a good gap. Usually they say, you know, twice the width of the branch. Get underneath it some here too. Okay, and I want to go back around that cut, make it neater. Need a nice sharp tool. Alright, I think we're ready for the sphagnum moss. I'll be right back. Alright, nice handful of wet sphagnum moss. I'm going to take it, wrap it around here. I'm going to squeeze tight, get that excess water out. And then I've got tin foil that I'm going to wrap around there. I was hoping, you know, it's better to have the rolls instead of these sheets, so you can just wrap it around and twist, but this is all I had at the time, but this will work fine. Good. do is I use my hands and I make like a twisting action. And if I want, I could put, you know, a tie around here or something, which I might do, because the water running down the angle of this branch, usually you'd have the branch the other way and water would be going in this end, but I'll put a tie here so that water can kind of drift in through the bottom and keep that moss wet. But basically, that's the entire technique. Like I said, it's actually really simple. When I get this rooted and when I go to separate it, you know, when I have roots, I'll try to remember to make another video to follow up on this. You know, me cutting, moving the branch and potting it. Now, when I do pot this, I don't try to get all the sphagnum moss off it or anything, because then you might, those roots are very tender and they could break off and you could be back to square one. And plus, if you do that after you cut it off, and then you lost it, and there's no recutting and rooting the thing. That's a large, that would be too large most likely for a cutting. Even though I have rooted large bush cherry cuttings before. So yeah, when you pot it, you take that sphagnum. If you could loosen a little bit on the periphery of it, that's fine. But otherwise, you put it in the soil with with potting soil, or I usually will go ahead and put bonsai soil around it, like, you know, and put that in a nice clay pot and water it well, and just, you know, maintain it, let it grow for a year or two that way. And then I'll take it back out, repot it, try to clean it up, expose the roots better. You'll have harder, you know, thicker roots that you can work with at that point. So that's the whole technique. It's done. I might go ahead and get a zip tie or something on this end, though. I think would be a good idea. Even though it's not part of air layering, I'm going to add it to the end of this video in case people are curious. I did that initial hard prune of an azalea, and I just want to show that it's not ready for me to do further stylings. I have to let the new buds grow into stronger growth first before I do any wiring and stuff. But I want to show that even though I hard pruned it, it did all back bud. Okay, so here's that azalea. And hopefully you can see all these buds in here. You know, it's budded everywhere. So, all right. Thank you. Looking forward to making some more videos for you guys. Bye.